Well, hello YouTube. How we doing today? It's raining here, so we're not at the lake, unfortunately. And I've been actually wanting to do this video for a couple days now, but between the rain and work, just haven't really got around to it. But some interesting stuff. So we'll get right to it. About 7 months ago, I did a video discussing how Donald Trump said there was a storm coming, right? And it included, a picture like that of just a big storm, that's a hurricane. And I equated that to, this right here, the Son of Man returning in a cloud. And that's that right there. So, and this is crazy because I don't even know if I should be jumping straight to this. Because there's so much going on right now in the world, right? But lo and behold, this showed up like a day or two ago. It's the same storm. Okay, it's all code. They speak in code, right? Everybody knows this. There was also something said. This is from last week. See, and this is why I don't listen to anything hardly they say, but this is where I get my news, right, of what's going on in the world. It says fateful hour draws near. And when I heard that, all I could think about was there's in the script in the Bible, the scripture. It's the script. All I could think about was and not all I could think about. The first thing that came to mind was that, what is it, great and dreadful day, right, of the Lord's return. And so I looked that up, and here's what it had to say. This comes out of Joel. And it's not the highlighted part. I don't know why the computer highlighted that part. I'm looking at the one right below it. It says, the sun shall be turned into darkness. There we go. We're back to that quote, right? And the moon into blood, which the blood moon is the 28th, so it's coming up pretty soon, which coincides with that 72-hour notice of the storm coming. It says before the great and terrible day. So basically, the eclipse already came. The blood moon will come. Now, officially, it'll be, and they assign times to these, right? Like at 3:45 in the afternoon Eastern is when it's technically the full blood moon. So since those things have to come before, okay, that means any time after that time will be when we go back to reality. Ascend, rapture as the church calls it, however you want to phrase it. So we are getting very, very close. Now, some other things that I've noticed is, and this is for you cat in a bird cage. You said 10 becomes 1, 1 becomes 10 or something. You left a comment there. And I was going to write all this down in the comment section, but I figured I'd do a video, and I just haven't got around to it till today. But I'm seeing the number 10 everywhere. And when I heard about, okay, we have the thing going on with Israel and Hamas, right? And they took hostages. The first thing I thought of was, and oddly enough, we're in the book of Revelation, so this applies to now. Revelation 2:10. Do not fear what you are about to suffer. Okay? And it says that you may be tested, and for 10 days you will have tribulation. Okay, so there's another 10. Now, the hostages were taken on the 7th. So for 10 days, if you add 10 days, that makes the 17th. And so either on the 17th or the 18th, they should have, according to the script, okay, because Israel lined all its tanks up at the border like they were going to invade, right? But they still haven't, even at the making of this video, unless something's gone on that I'm unaware of, they still haven't invaded, okay? And the only way to explain it is, okay, in life we say 2 steps forward, 1 step in reverse, right? Well, in backwards world where we live, it's 2 steps backward, 1 step forward. Okay, so we've worked our way all the way back to a certain point, and that's a step forward. Because what you're really watching, Hamas is Muslim, and there was supposed to be a global Muslim uprising, right? Yeah, there's been stories of stabbings. It's not an uprising, okay? Who are we dealing with? We got the Muslims and Israel, who are the Jews who gave us Christianity. So it's the Christians and the Muslims. We're all the way back to the very first crusade. And that would have been the first holy war. And since they didn't invade, that's the changing of a timeline. Because we're not supposed to have wars. We're a planet of peace originally. Everything is backwards here and upside down. So that was a timeline correction. Okay? And the thing that I also find funny is when I looked up to get these dates, it told me right here that they were taken on the 7th, taking of almost 200 hostages. Now, I've heard reports that they have like 201, and when I saw the guy on the podium talking about the hostages, he said there was 199 taken. 9 and 9 is 18, add 1 is 19, 1 plus 9 is 10. And there's another 10. I'm just seeing 10s everywhere. The 28, 2 plus 8 is 10. November 1st. And this is where it gets tricky. Because I think the ascension, the rapture, whatever you want to call it, I call it the shift. We live in backwards world that is perceived to be going forward. So we add those numbers together to reduce them down and get a number. Well, November 1st is 11-1. 11 minus 1 is 10 also. So you see where I'm going with this? We're going from, an addition over here to complete opposite. Now we're minusing. So my guess is, if it doesn't, it could happen anywhere from the 28th to the 1st. It could. Well, like I always say, I don't know. I don't know how any of this plays out. but everything happens for a reason. There's a reason I keep just seeing the number 10 everywhere, and those examples right there are just a few, a small few of them. Um, so we are we are getting very, very close. And like I said, if it could be on the 28th. We go into our 3 days of darkness, which takes us to October 31st, the end of the month, and then the very next day is November 1st. And then maybe we split. Not real sure. All I know is that was a 72-hour warning for the storm. Now, what happens once the storm gets here? Again, who knows? But if the storm is the Son of Man, which everybody thinks is Jesus, I don't know if we'll see it in the sky, big and broad. Like I said, I don't know how any of this is going to play out. All I know is in my last video I said we're right there on the cusp. Well, you can't be any more on the cusp than a 72-hour notice. So like I said, if we do experience 3 days of darkness, they're gearing up supposedly for war, right? It ain't gonna happen. They can sit there and fire their missiles and tell you all these stories about what's going on over there, but we just averted the first crusades. It's not on the correct timeline anymore. And like I said before, it'll probably be communications, because if they're building up for war and all your communications go down, everybody's going to think we are at war. I said this in a video probably about just as 4 months ago, maybe less. Time's moving right along and I don't keep track of it very well. But the people who think we're going to war, and all these doomsday preppers and whatever you want to label them as, that's what they'll immediately start to think if they lost all their communication. I mean, think about it. If your internet went down and the only news that you could get on the world came from your TV set, and we know what fear they'd like to drive, right? I'm just saying. Excuse me. But that'll be a definite marker in time. If the internet goes down and the only thing left is TV, I know we'll only have 3 days. So, very exciting times. I still have to maintain my balance, not get too excited over it, because I don't like the pendulum swinging, right? Going back and forth. You get too high, it's got to come back, and you might have a down day. My pendulum stays still. I call it balance. So I just wanted to do a quick video, throw those little tidbits of information out, and we'll just see what happens come this weekend, right? Because like I said, that's the other part about doing the videos, when when the shift comes, that we're not going to remember none of this, all this becomes completely insignificant, even doing the video. But I know there's people that watch them, and whether they get anything out of them or whether they believe what I'm saying, and I get it, there's billions of voices in the world, everybody's stating their opinion, and it's not really an opinion that I'm showing, it's just how I see things based on the knowledge I was given. And that's kind of its own weird thing too, because because we speak things into existence, right? And in this world, if you want to be successful, they tell you to envision your goal, to write your goals down and constantly be moving towards them, right? Which is kind of what I've been doing. The funny thing is back in the day when I first got on YouTube, you actually had to make a channel, right, to be able to get into chat rooms. So I'd been on YouTube studying, just reading books, so the whole 9 yards. I didn't actually make my channel until I attempted to get into involved in chat rooms. But even in my description here, this is clear back in 2010, I think. Okay. I wrote right in there, down there towards the bottom, I am the one. We are the same. So I actually spoke that into existence in some way. And because I kept my studies faithful and I was always looking for specific answers to specific questions, if you will. Because there again, a lot of it has to do with, you have to ask the right question. And go about it. Now, what the right question is, what the right way of going about it is, I'm not certain. I just know it's led me to be able to see the things and understand the things that I understand, and I just share them with you. So, like I said, very exciting times. Can't really be any more on the cusp than, 72-hour notice. So I just thought I'd leave everybody with that wonderful thought, and whatever pains you have, whatever trauma you're going through in your life, there won't be none of this on the other side. That I keep saying, everything, all these old wives' tales and sayings that we have. One of them is, "I'll catch you on the flip side," right? Well, we're about to flip, baby. All right, everybody have a wonderful, wonderful night and weekend. Let's have an awesome weekend and hope it goes down this weekend, right? All right, I love you all. Bye bye.